Welcome back to another ReRival Dev Log. This is a continuation of the library side room in the tower. Today I was putting together a puzzle for the entire library. This is the structure that I have settled on. I mean, it's probably not complete in terms of what it's going to look like or how the distance and actual, I guess, realism of it is, but in terms of the puzzle and the mechanic of the library, I think it's complete. I mean, I don't know if I'm going to add more to it, but I'd say phase one of it is done. As I did with my other devlog, let me just pull it out. This was one of the papers here. I know it's a mess, but if you watch the other videos, kind of just brainstorming ideas, try and figure out what I wanted to do. This one I've basically scrapped. I don't need it anymore. It was just more for cosmetics and what it would look like, the style. Originally, I was going to have the bookshelves, which I'm keeping. There are going to be the desks with the books on them for you would read information, either helping with the puzzle or displaying the rules that are allowed in the library. The books that are flying, I've basically gotten rid of it. I did clean up those ideas. Let me flip this one around. Originally, the books... Come on, stick. Why isn't it sticking? Originally, the books were going to be flying, and I wasn't sure how it was going to work. Like, you could jump on them, such. There were going to be book piles that would be summoning the flying books that would go back and forth, basically moving platforms. Then we also had the player being able to stand on the book stands, or desks, whatever you want to call them, reading stand, I think I wrote here. The player will not be able to stand on these anymore. These are just going to be description boxes of information. They'll basically just be background interactable. The bookshelves are going to actually remain the same. You'll be able to always stand on the top of them, but if the bookshelf carries on with like the bookcases going further up and there's no ledge, then you can't stand on them, you just fall through them. In terms of the bookshelf itself and how wide it's going to be, that is undetermined. It's just however wide you want it. But yes, basically I redid it, and let me just pull this other page up. Apologies, still have a cough. Let's see here. Yeah, so this is the puzzle room, and this here, I should just click these in, it'd be easier, was going to be the finished product of the library. I was going to clean it up and make it more palatable instead of, that nonsense. But I was going to have the description of everything together. Basically, what I have come to the conclusion of is what I'm going to do is bookshelves are going to be color coordinated between multiple colors. So I'll explain here. And this one's just easier to explain. Each bookshelf, certain bookshelves, I should state, are going to be color coordinated. On paper, I'm not doing color, I'm just doing shapes. It's like X circle, and then square, and then like a diamond, triangle, and the such. In the actual game, they'll just be colors, there won't be shapes. But now further explanation, these structures here are all one giant bookcase. These are all, it's going to just be a giant tower of books, basically. And these individual ones are just a section of the bookcase out. And these darker lines in between the giant bookcase, these darker lines are going to be platforms, or not platforms, but it's on the back of this, are going to be the ledges of the bookshelves that actually stick out where the player can stand on, right here. So basically they're going to be more, I don't know, jutted out, or maybe there'll be, my goodness, this can't stand. There'll be some sort of ledge, I'm not sure. But basically that's what these are. Now, in terms of how this works is, for the bookcases, when a bookcase is hit, there will be summoned books in these locations, predetermined. They won't be moved. They'll always be the same. When a bookshelf is hit, the coordinating books will be placed. And when they're placed, the player can then traverse onto them. They'll basically be floating books, not flying books. They won't be moving around. They can't be interacted with. They'll just be platforms. You can drop through them and blah, blah, blah. So basically, for instance, right, this is a kind of a, I guess you would say, a small scale of the large scale library. If the player starts here, okay, they can't reach the top of these shelves anywhere here because these would all be too high up. But one of the bookcase sections here that can be hit would summon the platforms necessary to traverse atop of them. So the triangles here would coordinate with the triangle bookcase. Now, obviously, in the game, it would be like, let's say blue. This is a blue. It would summon the blue books in the locations. So by hitting the triangle, it would spawn here, 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 there, 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 and I think these two there. Yes, and that's it. Those locations, those would all appear immediately, and they would remain forever. There's no time limit of any such. So when these go spawn in, the player can now traverse here. Move my hand out here. They can traverse here, here, and here. And then obviously the player always is given the choice to drop down. So whatever they're above, they can drop down, and they could go through here as well. So they're given access through here. Now, I did make it where in-game, it may look on paper, but in the game, these will be different heights. It doesn't matter how many of these platforms I add in between. I'll just fill in the gap to where the player will not be able to jump across the gap. That's something I want to avoid. That's not something I want. So when they're given access to this, they can now hit this one. Or I think that's it, yeah. This is the only one they can hit. They can hit the circle one now. They can drop down, and they can hit the circle one. Hitting the circle one, sorry, would summon all the circle ones. Obviously, this would be a different color. Like, this could be yellow, so it doesn't matter. So you would spawn these ones, these two, and I think that's it. It's just those ones, yeah. It's just these two pairs here. You can now traverse over here. You can traverse over here, including over here, and then back up here. Now, when you do activate this one, the book spawn, the triangle, these will all still remain. So you'll have the triangles and the circles in a combination, so you can now traverse more area. So you could go over here, you could activate the squares, you could activate the X, or I don't know, I just wrote this as a symbol. I'm just going to call it the ox. You can activate the ox symbol, the X, or the square, which could activate the other platforms. Now, the goal is to reach up here. To reach up here, you need the ox, the square, and the X. Now, there wouldn't be any difficulty because you could just keep hitting everything to get everywhere. But this is where the puzzle or the rule applies to actually add a difficulty. Let's say you hit the X, okay? You have the triangle, the X, and the circles, okay? Now, I'm going to write it down here for you. You have the triangle, you have the circle, and you have the X now, in order, okay? Now, let's say you go over here, okay? You don't have the square, so you can't go up here and hit the diamond. Let's say you go over and you get the square, okay? Let's say you hit the square. This is where the puzzle actually commences. There can only be 3 symbols, but in-game it's going to be 3 colors, which will be explained, but there will only be 3 symbols actually allowed. When you get the square, the diamond, focus, there we go, there we go, not diamond, sorry, apologies, the triangle will be replaced because there can only be 3 active at a time. So now you only have circle, X, square active, which means all the platforms that are now diamonds disappear. All of these would disappear immediately as soon as you would hit the square. It doesn't matter that it is the square being hit. It's just only 3 can be active at a time, and the next one you activate, whatever it is, right? It could be whatever, as the worst question mark. I'm just writing through the camera. I can't actually see it. Whatever you hit next would then get rid of the circle. And then the next one you hit would get rid of the X, and it would keep going. Now, further rules that need to be understood for this to be actually understood is once a bookshelf is hit, like let's say the square is hit, you cannot hit it again to deactivate it, okay? You can't do square, circle, right, and then hit square again because it's already active. You can only hit a bookcase again once the last one has been replaced. As long as it's not active, you can hit it again. And if it is active, you have to replace it with something else. Like if you have square and you have circle, triangle, right? And then you want X, okay? Let's say you hit X, and that will get rid of square if you want to get rid of it. So those are the rules. It's quite simple if once it's actually understood. Maybe I'm explaining this quite awfully, but if you understand, you understand. I think that's the best I could explain it for right now. So basically, you have 3 active, and the next one you activate replaces the last one that you activated. And then you can keep going in a loop. So the objective is to reach up here. So you need the ox, the square, and the x. Now, how that would work is I have the answer written down up here. This is the combination. But before I actually give the answer, I mean, obviously you could put it together just by looking at this and that, but I wanted to give an example to this. Let's say you hit triangle first, okay? I'll just repeat it. I won't keep showing this. I'll just repeat it from up here. I'll just show you here. Let's say you hit triangle. By entering the library, you have to hit triangle to be given the options to choose other stuff. So you hit triangle, you can go to the circle. Now let's say you go to square, okay? You can hit square, the squares will appear, okay? Now you can then go to X. You can hit X, but you lose your diamond. Now once you have that though, you can drop down and you could just hit the you could hit the diamond again, which would get rid of circle. So you now have square, X, diamond, which would allow you to traverse up to here. So as I said, you have square, X, and diamond, which are the necessary platforms. I keep calling this diamond, I apologize. It's a triangle. This is the diamond, I just get them confused, I apologize. You can then traverse up to here to hit the diamond. Now, obviously hitting the diamond would replace the square, but now you have the X, triangle, and then diamond. And that diamond gives you new paths you can choose from, which is what you would want. Now, obviously, it's like, what's the point of this? Is because through combination, you will eventually be able to get ox, square, and x. Now, if you directly tried to go and get ox, square, and x, you'll run into dead ends. There'll be multiple dead ends. Now, I'll show you, for example. Let's say you hit triangle and circle, because you have to get it around. Okay, you want the ox, square, and diamond. Let's say you have this, right? You can hit X, and you can hit ox. If you have a diamond and circle in the beginning, you can traverse up to here, and you can hit X, right? Then you can hit ox. As soon as you hit X or ox or whatever order you want, actually you can't hit this, but I'll explain. You hit X, right, and then you hit ox, okay? As soon as you hit ox, ox will replace the triangle. So you'll have circle, X, and ox. Now, this is X, so you can go back over here, and you can traverse all the way up to the square. You hit square. You now have X, ox, and square, which is the necessary code to reach up here. But as soon as you hit X, ox, and square, which you can do right in the beginning of the library, you could just go straight there and do it. You can hit it. You're over here now because you hit the library, the bookcase here, the square. You don't have diamond, and you don't have triangle. As soon as you hit this, there is no way to get back. I mean, yes, if you do have ox, it would put the platform here, the book, to where you could traverse up here, right? But even if you're here, you can't get over there. Wait, can you? Wait, hold up. If you have this, you could traverse over here. No, you can't, because I realized you can't jump. I'm removing the jumping. There is no jumping. You cannot cross these. Why is this arrow here? Oh my goodness, that's just I almost had a panic attack because, goodness. You cannot, there is no jumping. No jumping. you would need circle or triangle to cross this gap over here. You cannot. You cannot jump over. I know this looks like it's very close together, but it's not. In the game, when it's put in, it'll be as far away as it needs to be to where the player cannot jump over it. The gap. Okay, the player cannot jump over the gap. So if you're over here on the square, you cannot get over here. It is impossible. Because if you drop off the platform, right, or you jump up here, you are stuck on the side. As soon as you drop down, you are on the bottom floor, and you do not have the diamond or the triangle to get back up. So you cannot get over here. Even though you have the right code, it is impossible. So the square needs to be hit last with the ox and the X. You need to be on this side when you have this code, because having the code means you cannot traverse there, which is that is the puzzle. Now, as I was saying with the codes up here, this one just leads to a dead end. This one doesn't work. It just loops back and forth. It does not work. So I put it together, and I have a solution. I did a lot of trial and error. I could not figure it out myself. I put it together. I thought I was running into an impossible puzzle, but it actually works. Now I can explain how it would start. This is how it starts. You would hit diamond, circle, because that would immediately give you access. I'm going to try and put this in camera where you can actually see it all. Yeah, there we go. So you hit diamond, circle, okay? You hit square, because you can immediately hit these two and go over here and hit square. Once you have square, you can then go to X. When you hit X, you can then traverse back down, because you can drop down. You don't need to cross anything. You just drop straight down. You can then hit diamond, okay? You can then, since you have diamond and you have the X here, you can go up here, drop down. You can jump on the X. You can go to the ox. You can get ox. So now you have diamond. Oh my goodness, this is breaking my brain right now. I'm so tired. You have you have diamond, you have X. I even have it wrote up here. You have X, you have diamond, you have ox. Okay. As soon as you hit circle, right, you can cross here because the X is still active. You hit the circle, you lose X, but you have the you have triangle. I keep calling it diamond. I apologize about that. It's confusing. Diamond, ox, and circle. That is the necessary to actually solve the equation. And if you want to run through your own simulations of it, you can. It's very simple. Okay, so once you have diamond, ox, and circle from this solution here, you can then go and hit X, because circle, as displayed here, circle and diamond allows you to get to X. Once you hit X, you can then traverse all the way to square because circle leads diagonally straight to it, not because you can jump the gap. Once you have circle, X, and square, wait. If you have circle, X, and square, how does this work? Are you stuck? Did I mess up? Did I miscalculate this entire thing? Oh my goodness, do I have to redo this all? Oh my goodness, this is such a pain. You have circle, X, and square. Oh, yeah, that's why. Oh my goodness, I almost freaked out again. I need to believe in my solution because I spent a long time and it worked. I already went through this 3 times and it works. So, oh my goodness. I hope you're able to keep track with me here. So once you have X, circle, X, and square, right? You're stuck over here. You can't get back. You drop down and you hit diamond. Diamond, so now, just being aware, you have square, diamond, right? So you have X, square, and diamond. X, square, and diamond allows you to get up here. Square, and then, let's see, X allows you to traverse, I keep calling it diamond, triangle, allows you to get diamond. It sounds like mad ramblings, but it works, and it doesn't work any other way unless you do it in this certain order. I've done multiple other solutions. It doesn't work. It's just, they all lead to dead ends. Okay, so, oh man. Once you have X square, in diamond, you can traverse all the way up to here, and you can it's triangle, then you reach diamond. Once you have diamond, you can then hit diamond, right? So now you have square, triangle, diamond. You have this right here. You could drop all the way down, and you can go through here, and you can go up here because this is diamond, square, and now you have access to circle. So once you have this, you don't go to circle yet, though. Let's see here. I had the solution somewhere. Where did I put it? I think it was over here. Let's see here. It's X. Yeah. You can then, once you have diamond, you can go to X. Let's see here, right? Can't you go to X? You should be able to. Ah, yes, because since you have X here, you can traverse all the way up here. You can go from diamond, square, cross, because X is active, right? Wouldn't it be? Yes, it is. You can go up here to hit X. Not X, sorry. Sorry. Wrong one. Let's see. Wait. Oh my goodness. Did I actually mess it up? Once you have it up here, you travel up here. You have triangle, diamond. Once you have diamond, you have these three. You can traverse and get X. Can you? Why can't you? I don't think you can. Can you? Am I dumb? Am I missing something? How do you get across? You don't have circle or X. Wait. Am I dumb? I think I'm dumb. How do I figure? Wait. No. My work. Oh my goodness. You have square. Wait. So if you have square, you have these three, which allows you to drop. These three combination don't allow you to get to X. I just realized that. Right? Wait, do they? No, they don't. These don't allow you to get to X. Because you need X or circle to get to X. And if you don't have any of those two, then you don't have the solution to get over there. Oh my goodness. Wait, unless I am missing something. Am I missing something? I think I'm missing something. No, I think I just messed it up. Oh my goodness. Well, okay, so if I am correct, if I do have the X here, I could just add an extra platform that would cross, but maybe that would add other alternate routes that can be taken to get to there. I thought that was the solution. I could have sworn it was, but it seems I made a mistake. Well, isn't this the process of trial and error? I have the puzzle. It's all together. I'm very close to completing it, but this video has already been running long enough, and I will come back when I actually have a solution. Oh my goodness. I will be back when this is all together. Soon. It'll be done soon. Well, I guess that's it for the end of this log. I'll probably work on this a little bit longer and then try and get it fixed. Man, this is a headache.